IPMNation.com.
This is Zach DeFosi, owner of Inspire Music in Franklin, New Hampshire, and you're listening to IPM Nation, Local Outbreak.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We're here at the studio in downtown Laconia, 50 Canal Street to be specific. TheStudioNH.com is a website if you want to check it out online. But come on down during business hours. Of course, say hello to Melissa. It's a funky little gift shop and art gallery. Very, very cool place. Everyone who checks it out loves it. Great place to do some shopping. Let's see, Mother's Day is gone, but I guess Father's Day is the next big one coming up, so... maybe there's something before that I'm forgetting, but come down here anytime. It's really, really cool. And also we are sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. Tim Martin does a great job. And, of course, Tweak Sound and Mastering. Matt Marcil, also a big part of what makes this show possible. You can go to tweaksound.com. He is right in Concord, New Hampshire, although I think he's going to be moving soon, so hopefully he stays in the area, but he does both engineering and production and has been a frequent guest on the show. And joining us this week, Zach DeFosi? DeFosi. I was close.
That's good. That's pretty good for your first try.
That's closer than how I thought it was pronounced. Well, you actually, no, because you brought us Luke Diamond, who was on the show a couple months ago, and your name came up during that interview.
Right.
So,
right.
And I remember him leaving off the last S. So I knew the last S was silent. I knew that much. So it's DeFosi.
DeFosi.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of a name is that?
It's actually French.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's why the last consonant
A
would be
lot
silent.
of people do tend to pronounce it DeFosses. But I was raised saying DeFosi, so I stick with it.
So we're going to be playing tonight. You brought some tunes with you.
Right.
From some different artists that you work with.
Yep.
But before we really get into it, tell us what you've got going on and why you're here, basically, what we're going to be chatting about.
Well, mainly I just wanted to talk about Inspire Music.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be located in Franklin, New Hampshire. Actually, we just nailed our physical location, which is 47 River Street in Franklin, New Hampshire. And our mission with that is actually fostering creativity through music by providing musical experiences for all ages within Franklin, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Our starting point is basically providing individual lessons, and like we have Luke Diamond, who's actually going to be doing guitar.
Excellent.
We negotiated a contract with Chris McCool, who's the drummer for Color Collective.
Okay. Yep.
He's going to be doing our drum instruction. And then myself doing some piano lessons.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. What's cool about that, too, is, that you coming on to talk about that is, obviously, a show like this, we try to support the local music scene, but also local businesses at the same time. That's why we do the show here at the studio, and we talk about our sponsors a lot. So this is kind of covering both, whereas
two birds with one stone.
You have this new thing opening. So, you like I said, you brought some music to play. Why don't we play something, and then we'll come back and chat some more. What do you want to start out with?
Let's go with Ryan Ordway, and his song is 1% Girl.
Okay. Very cool. Let's listen to that, and then we'll come back and chat with Zach DeFosi.
DeFosi, you got it.
All right.
Yay.
All right, here's 1% Girl from Ryan Ordway here on... Is this new, by the way? Is this a brand new track from Ryan?
This is actually... I'm sure we'll get into it at some point, but I partnered with the Franklin Opera House, and we're coordinating concerts in the park at Odell Park in Franklin. And he's actually going to be one of the guests performing for our final performance in support of Knight Rider. is
Okay.
the final performance, which is
You told me we'll save that. You told me something interesting
Sorry.
about Knight Rider off air. We'll
Yeah.
get to that because that's really interesting. and
but it
very
is a
cool.
new song. So.
It is a new song, so
Right.
it's a world premiere.
It is really because he's going to be putting it on his album release that's coming up.
We
pretty
like
soon.
the world premieres here on Local Outbreak, so good. I'm glad. All right, this is 1% Girl from Ryan Ordway here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
I've been beat up a lot in my life by girls, but I don't mind. The scars on my face read like a road map full of warning signs, warning signs. 99 of 100 gonna break and make you wish you called in that day. I pay my dues, now everything is great. She my 1%. She not like the other girls. She my 1%. Makes me feel right down in the dumps again. She brightens up my world. She my 1% girl. I've been beat up a lot in my life by the world, the end of times. I like to touch the fence sometimes. 99 of 100 gonna break and make you wish you called in that day. I pay my dues, now everything is great. She my 1%. She not like the other girls. She my 1%. Makes me feel right down in the dumps again. She brightens up my world. She my 1% girl. I learned my lesson. I really did. Hey, I really did. She my 1%. She not like the other girls. She my 1%. Makes me feel right down in the dumps again. She brightens up my world. She my 1% girl. She my 1% girl. She's my 1% girl. She's my 1% girl.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet, and we're chatting tonight with, let's see if I can do it twice in a row, Zach DeFosi.
You got it twice in a
All
row.
So we were kind of talking off air. You know, we heard Ryan Ordway's new track, 1% Girl, and I used to book a band that Ryan was in. This would have been, 2000, oh God, maybe 2002,
Oh, wow, yeah.
2003, around there. Bloom was the band.
Yep.
Really great band, you know, really jammy. Not the type of thing I would normally get into that much, but they were just really, really good live.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I still have a Bloom CD somewhere in my office. But I haven't seen the guy or heard from him since.
He again just started with or opened Resort Recording, which is a studio for production, really. And then he's got a couple other projects as well, the Recording Co-op, where he'll have like live performances and stuff. So he's really seems to be coming back onto the scene full bore. If you haven't heard from him in a little while,
Yeah,
he's
that's
new
really cool.
to me, like interaction wise. Just met him, actually, through Facebook, of course, but I'd say maybe 2 months ago, something like that.
Okay.
Was my introduction to him.
Okay. Yeah, when you had first mentioned him to me, I went on Facebook and I looked him up and I was like, I just wanted to make sure, is this the same Ryan Ordway? Because I recognize the name right away, but I'm sure there's other Ryan Ordways out there. It's probably not that unusual name. So I was like, is this the same guy? And I was like, oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. He has Resort Recordings. That's what it's called?
Right, that's the studio.
That's the studio.
Yeah.
And then what's the other thing?
The Recording Co-op. I'm not exactly sure to the details of like what the business model is of it, but I do know he has a lot of like live performances. I think they had someone from like Rusted Root last month or the month before. Like they have some pretty cool guests there, and they just like jam and go and sit down. It's like it's not huge, so it's like a pretty intimate setting from what I can see.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
yeah.
Now, so tell us a little more about Inspire Music. So that's opening soon?
Right. We just actually opened enrollment to start scheduling the individual music lessons.
Okay.
For the guitar, piano, and the drums. And then, actually, it was last week we finalized our physical location, which is the 47 River Street in Franklin, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But it's a community that really is kind of starting to make a lot of positive changes.
Yeah.
Because it's carried a stigma for a little while now. And some of these changes are like new businesses coming in, as well as, other individuals in the community starting to get a lot more involved. Myself being one, and then also the other people that are in support of me doing this in the community.
Yeah.
And I've had a few different meetings, one with the music director of the Franklin High School, Paul. I also talked with the elementary music teacher, Tim Hazelton. He's actually one of the performances as well for concerts in the park. So it's been just, trying to really make connections, and as part of this forward movement for Franklin, really have music be a key component as well.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. Has it been? I mean, it sounds like people have been supportive and positive about it, which is great, because sometimes when you try to do something new in a community, it can be difficult. There's apathy and
it can,
stuff
and
like that.
You take like even the school system as well. There's not a lot of extracurricular activities.
Right.
So I think we're getting a lot of support from that end. Also, the people that might not necessarily join the football team or the baseball team, or they're looking more toward the arts, and we're going to give them that opportunity.
Which is great too, because very often, and I mean, I don't know the inner workings of the Franklin school system, but I know that in a lot of communities, when the budget cuts hit, very often, well, really, I think pretty much usually, the arts are
go for
what
that
gets
first, which
cut.
is
They don't, they don't touch sports if they don't have to, but the arts, absolutely.
And we want to make it permanent. They're like a sustainable business as well. So like starting with the individual lessons, and then part of this and making it really community based is we partnered with the Franklin Opera House in Franklin to actually coordinate or help them coordinate concerts in the park. They do at Odell Park each year. So that's like our first step, almost as a community collaboration, and we're able to do that kind of, I guess, if you want to say like in the air, because we didn't have a physical location, but I was able to go meet with the president, Dan Darling, and discuss this with him. That meeting was actually set up by the mayor, Ken Merrifield. I talked to him. He's incredibly supportive of music. Yeah. And he has his own band too, and like he said, we'll get there on that part as well. But he was a key player on helping me connect with the Opera House and like kind of get this ball moving. As I said, it was like an in the air kind of project where there wasn't a physical location, but he just really supported our mission,
Sure.
giving us that first connection, which then helped us get the word out. Hey, Inspire Music is collaborating to bring you concerts in the park, and we're the ones that connected with all the bands and artists that are performing.
Right.
So it got the word of mouth going.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, I think we're ready to say, hey, we need to find a physical location,
Yeah.
so we can bring the individual lessons, which is the other piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. So I assume having the physical location, that was part of the equation all along. It was
Yes. When I put the model together, it was kind of just, my wife and I actually were having some discussions about it. And it's been, something I'd say more of a dream of mine for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
And then just some things started to fall more into place. And then with Franklin, starting to gain a lot of momentum on this positive change with community members and everything that are really taking it to the ground,
Yeah.
So the opportunity was there. And our space, actually, the owner of that property was incredibly supportive. He's like, listen, I'll do rent at this price, and let's just see if this flies. So it's like, yes,
Hey, if
to
you
have
can
that opportunity.
If you can find a good landlord,
That's
you're
key.
in good
Yeah.
shape. Yeah.
yeah. It's like,
Absolutely.
and there will be drums, so are you okay with that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
excellent. Now, are there multiple rooms? Will there be multiple lessons going on?
There will
simultaneously
be. There
with
will
or-
be to start. The floor is kind of like open concept right now, and as we start to increase our enrollment, clients that want to sign up for individual lessons, then the plan will be to set up, practice rooms.
Sure.
But it's going to be all like growth as needed,
Right.
So when we get ready and have that enrollment where it's like, okay, we need another room, then we'll set up another practice room and go from there.
Yeah.
But the main idea really is to have 2 to 3 fully operational practice rooms.
Sure.
When we're in, with the full swing.
And you and how many instructors, including yourself?
There's 3 of us right now. So there's
Okay.
myself, Luke Diamond, who's going to do the guitar, and then Chris McCool, who's going to be doing drum instruction.
Okay.
Also, the elementary school teacher, he works at Paul Smith, Tim Hazelton, is going to come on and maybe do like some group sessions in the evening.
Yeah.
So it's not just individual lessons.
Yeah.
Like we're also doing or have some group offerings.
Sure.
So it's
cool.
a larger plan, but to start, it's just going to focus on the individual lessons.
Right.
And really connecting with the community. Like, hey, we're here. We're bringing this to the forefront of Franklin.
Yeah.
And the big start to that is like the concerts in the park.
How many of those are there? How many of those are planned?
The concerts in the park are a weekly basis, so it's every
okay.
Thursday,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're going to start July 9th
Okay.
and run until the last performance is actually on a Saturday, so it's September 5th.
Okay.
Just because we wanted to do like, a nice final concert to wrap up the series, basically.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Now, have the concerts in the park have those already been an ongoing thing, and now you're a part of it?
Actually,
In a sense, or
I was part of the start of this in 2009.
oh, no kidding. Oh, okay.
And then at that time, the scene was just starting, really. Like
Yeah.
the Opera House has always been there, and it's
Right.
always been a venue and had performances. But between myself, the Franklin Parks and Recreation was supportive of that at that time. Together, we started to organize this concert series, and then, still needing to maintain family and
Right. Oh, yeah.
a full-time job and everything, it kind of pulled me in a different direction for a while.
Sure.
Until, like I said, more recently, where things have fallen into place, the window's open for opportunity with this. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm right back on board. Also, the Mayor's Drug Task Force is another component to who's involved in this, especially through sponsorship.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
let's talk about the mayor.
right.
Might as well, because that's interesting. One of the songs we're going to play tonight.
Right, yeah. Ken Merrifield is the mayor of Franklin, New Hampshire. He's also or also has a band, Knight Rider.
Yeah.
They were actually inducted into the Nashua Hall of Fame for a rock band. So they've been at it for a while, but we're going to have him because he's, a music enthusiast as well. So he's like all about getting this going in Franklin, which is awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more important role other than the mayor to be on board with, music in Franklin,
Right, exactly.
so,
yeah.
So he, his band is going to be the final concert, Knight Rider, on September 5th. And then Ryan Ordway is going to be in support of his band, as that final performance. But yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
And Knight Rider, we should clarify for people too. It's one word and it starts with an N. It's not like the TV series with Hasselhoff.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
Knight Rider, one word. And do you know how long Knight Rider's been around? Because I saw a picture of them online. Looks like they've been around a while.
They have. They have. I don't know if I want to date them. No, just no. Yeah, I believe since the 80s.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been on the scene for a while.
Because I was going to say, I assume the mayor doesn't look like that anymore. He does in those pics.
He's still holding age well, though. He's looking good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What does he play?
Guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know
he can definitely shred it up.
Is it all the original guys? Do you know?
It is.
That's
It
awesome.
is. Yeah.
That's very cool.
And they're actually, for this, they're all coming back together to put this on.
That's really
cool.
cool.
I mean, for him being the mayor in that role with the community, but at the same time to pull out a guitar and pull his band back together for this is just huge.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Well, why don't we play that next?
Yeah.
And this is you brought, like I said, you brought some tunes with you. So
correct.
We'll play Desert Man by Knight Rider. We'll take a listen, featuring what's his name? Ken Merrifield.
Ken
Merrifield.
Yep.
The mayor of Franklin, New Hampshire, and his band Knight Rider. This is Desert Man here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation. We are at the studio talking with Zach DeFosi.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. All right, I'm doing well. By the way, I'll remind everybody, too, of course, you can hear Local Outbreak. A new episode every Saturday night at 9 p.m., both on 100.1 The Planet if you're in central New Hampshire, and, of course, streaming worldwide on the IPM Nation live station at IPMNation.com. And then there is a replay every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then a new one every Saturday. So we also do archive all the shows, too, so you can listen all the way back to the beginning if you go to IPMNation.com/local outbreak, as we are in year 6 of doing this show. I think it's year 6. It's all kind of a blur. But we're chatting with Zach tonight about Inspire Music. And when does that open again, the physical location?
Right. Well, we're going to be in there working on it, getting it prepared.
There's a lot to do, I would imagine.
What we need for requirements, basically, to do this correct,
Yeah.
So we're looking to be in there mid-June doing that work.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's not far.
And then our goal, and actually you'll hear this here first because it hasn't been made public yet, is to open or do our grand opening like the first week of July.
Excellent.
Is actually the goal. And bringing up the mayor again, he's actually on board to be part of we're going to do an opening ceremony and, go full bore, have some live
great.
music too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's the goal. And then of course, we'll narrow down to a precise date of the actual opening date, but we're looking at the first week of July. But again, right now we're doing open enrollment.
Okay.
Again, for the guitar, piano, and drums.
Now, how do people enroll? Do they just do it right online?
Yep, they can contact us through email or Facebook, as well as call or text. 603-998-9676 is the phone number. Okay. And basically, what we'll do is arrange a date and time for what we're calling consults, and we'll meet with the individual and then just go over where they're at, what they're looking to do, and then how we can tailor lessons to what they're looking for.
Oh, very good. Good.
It's really going to be focused on what the client wants, and what they're trying to get out of it.
Right.
And how far they want to take it.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about your musical background. Have you been in some bands? Or?
I've been on and off the scene.
Yeah.
But I play keys.
Yeah.
I've been doing it basically, I grew up in a home with a piano, and our family, ancestors go back to, playing the spoons and, the banjo and, that type of stuff. So it was just kind of built into my home.
Yeah.
And we had, a baby grand piano in the living room, so my father would get on and play, the songs that were kind of carried down through his family and generations, and I'd jump on the right side of the piano bench and just kind of bang at the top, making noise,
Right.
And I could barely crawl onto the bench at that time, but just growing up around that, then of course, the banging started to turn into some sound, instead of just noise, and then it progressed into actual rhythm, and eventually my father kind of was like, oh, well, here's your spot on the bench, and I just went from there. Took, individual lessons myself as a child.
Sure.
It was a good experience, but what we're looking to do with this is make it more, I don't want to say creative, but in a way where it's not as restricted. Really just centered on the individual enrolled, making it enjoyable for them. Instead of pulling out some Bach, if they're hey, I want to come learn, no, not Stairway to Heaven on guitar. No, just kidding. Oh, God. But you know what I mean? But if the individual wants to learn something specific, okay, well, let's do this and meet them where they're at.
Right. Which is good. Then you're not driving them away.
Right. Or trying to force something on them that they might not be totally interested in. But at the same time, with the development of our curriculum, they're going to be getting the key components to what it takes to progress forward within their music lessons.
Right.
So, so I started, playing, well, as soon as I could crawl onto the bench. You
Yeah.
know, and kind of move forward. Took some lessons myself. Went through high school actually with kind of the dream of going to Berkeley in Boston. But academically, you know, I was okay, but they were looking for a lot more theory. And actually,
Yeah.
you know, going through the school system, and at that time, there wasn't a whole lot being offered to kind of gear you toward being accepted into Berkeley and meet
Right.
what they're looking for.
Right.
So, you know, the entire time I continued like learning music, coming up with my own compositions,
Sure.
and then ended up going to Franklin Pierce for music education.
Oh,
'Cause that
cool.
was,
Okay.
like, kind of my backup college. You know, you got to
Right.
do this one and then this
Oh, yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to Franklin Pierce for music education for about a year, and then left that for a band opportunity.
Oh, no kidding.
Which wasn't incredibly successful, the band. I mean, we hit the scene pretty hard for a little while.
Who was it?
At first, it was actually me and my cousin, and it was called Fusion, and it's like, my brother was the drummer.
Yeah.
You know, we gave it a try, but we were all, the age difference was there, and
Yeah.
like we were pretty green, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, and then from there, like, that didn't quite work out. I moved on into a few other different things. Worked with Mark Donovan for a little while. I think he was actually a guest on
I was going to
one of the
say,
episodes.
that name is very familiar to me.
Yeah, he does like a lot of solo stuff. I haven't heard from him in a while, but like worked with him for a little bit, and then I would have to say the most kind of successful project that I was part of was Mark Donovan and Adam McDonald, and they had a band called Side One, and that
Okay.
was, I want to say, roughly in '08
Okay.
or right around there. Was it '07, '08? But we actually went out to Rome, New York, and opened for Young and Divine, and there was
Okay.
like, I think, I don't want to mess this up, I think it was like 3 a.m. Club or Club 3 a.m. or something like that. They like ended up on tour, and
Okay.
they were pretty successful, but my brother PJ DeFosi was the drummer for our band, and like in the midst of that, we still used to play pickup floor hockey.
Yeah.
Totally blew his knee out, ACL and meniscus, and that was like,
no.
you know, that was like, there goes the brakes, you know.
Wow.
And we even like tried really hard. Oh, we'll put together an acoustic set just to like
Yeah.
keep this momentum,
Sure.
but it didn't quite pan out that
that's
way.
too bad.
So yeah.
By the way, did he recover and is able
Oh, he
to play
did. He
again?
had
Oh,
he had
that's
the surgery done and
Yeah.
everything. And actually, the drums help him, I think, really for a lot of like
good. Oh,
the rehab on the knee.
Makes
you
sense,
know?
yeah.
So like working it again. It took him a little bit though to
sure.
get back onto it because like everything was tightened up and
Oh,
he had
yeah.
surgery on both the meniscus and the ACL. So
Wow.
yeah. But it was, so that was kind of like for me, and then like the projects and where everything was, I was like, maybe this band thing's not for me, you know,
Right.
because it, you know, you invest a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
And then to have it like, oh wow, that totally wasn't planned, like,
Right.
you know, to see that. So
Yeah.
I started, you know, kind of really settle down and focus more on like getting a full-time job
Right.
and, you know, things like that. So it basically put performing on hold, I'd say, for the most part.
Sure.
You know, I've always, like, piano's never left my side. You know, like, I'm
Right.
always doing my kind of solo stuff, like just playing or creating new compositions. But being part of the band scene was, like, out for me. And then I started doing a little bit of, like, the booking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Break the Dark was a band that I worked with for a little while. Streamline was another one that
Streamline.
Yep, they were out of Manchester.
I think we had them on the show.
Yep, probably a while ago, because I think that was
Might
more
not
near
have-
2010 maybe.
It may. Yeah. I was gonna say. I'm not sure it was even this show, because I've had other shows prior to doing this one where I would
Yeah.
interview local bands. Like I used to do a show on RageRockRadio.com when that was still. I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
that when that
Yeah.
was around. And I think I might have interviewed them there.
You may have.
I think I did.
Yeah, because that was a while back. Because
Yeah.
Godsmack was like on the scene. They actually
Yeah.
opened for Godsmack at one time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they were like working pretty hard.
Yeah.
And Break the Dark was like probably the most impressive band I worked with.
See,
they had a cello player.
Oh, really?
like,
Yeah.
And it was rock. You know what I mean?
That's
so it was
cool.
Really cool.
I don't know them at all. Cool name though. I dig the name.
They were together for like 5 years. When I had met them, they were in that like 5th year, basically.
Yeah.
As you can see where this story's going.
Yep.
And I was like working on booking shows with them. Like we even went and did the Lowell Brewery in Massachusetts. They
Yeah.
opened for Taproot there.
Huh.
And like they were really starting to gain some steam. And here I am looking at it like, oh my God, like this is a band. Like this might be that real true success story because they've been together 5 years. They all seem like things are going well. And then they ended up hiring on a new manager that was supposed to like help connect them with bigger, larger venues and bands and all this stuff. And
There's a familiar thread there. You hear a lot of that type of story. There was a new manager who was supposed to ...
Yeah, right. Right.
And then whatever's next somehow never quite happens.
No. And it was I got a phone call because I was supposed to go see them at the Lowell Brewery again and like start negotiating a contract to perform there. And I got a phone call at like 3 a.m. and it was the lead singer, and I'm like, hello. He's like, we're done. And I'm thinking, oh no, like, because I was kind of looking to be more of a promoter at that time, and I was like, like, what did I do? He's like, oh no, man, it's not you. I just can't deal with that manager and like this whole, and that was it. And again, that was like kind of a reinforcement, where I was like, wow, that's a shame. Like, so these bands that you see that make it to radio or that are continuing to play after numerous years, even like Ken Merrifield's band, for example. Yeah. It's like, wow, they stuck together through all of it. Like, you got to admire that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, but so that was like my background more or less to kind of try and paint a picture of that. It's, been on and off, but on the scene on and off, but consistently throughout my life. The music's always been there.
Do you miss playing out, being in a band and playing out and all that? Or are you just kind of over it?
Honestly, not really. It was fairly nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I swear when I'd sit down to like do the keys, like I'd have to get my hands to stop shaking to get into but then of course once you settle in and then the energy of the audience, by the time you're like, I don't know, a minute into the first song, you're like, you totally forgot all the nerves and stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, there's that component that I definitely miss, but where my focus is now and where I'm at within my own life, is just an entirely different area. Yeah. But I definitely, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. Even the nerves and the handshaking was a good part of it.
Right.
I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's exciting. But it can be very stressful. It's not all glitz and glamour, that's for sure.
No.
Well, let's play another track. Like I said, you brought some tunes tonight. What do you want to play next?
We could go with Breaking Character. They're another band that's going to actually be on for concerts in the park at Odell Park in Franklin. Are they
from here? Because I don't know them.
They're actually the gentleman that I know is Jack Finley, who's one of the band members. Yeah. He's from Franklin. Okay. So he actually works in the school system and everything like that. Oh, cool. So that's how I became familiar with him, and we played in the floor hockey league together at one time. Okay. So, but he's had this band for a little while, and they're definitely, they'll like do covers and stuff like that. So they're really a fun band to go and see. Yeah. Like just feel good. But they also have some of their original stuff too.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I dig the name Breaking Character. That's a cool name. By the way, in terms of the concerts that are coming up in the park, where do you know? Is there somewhere online people can go to see the full lineup of that?
Yeah, yep. You can actually visit our website, which is www.inspiremusicnh.com. Okay. And look at the events tab. Great. And it will list it there. Also, you can visit our Facebook page. Yeah. Which is www.facebook.com/InspireMusicNH. Okay. And on there, the events are actually set up. So you can look at them and then even click, like attending.
Oh, cool.
You can invite
Okay.
people that you think would want to attend.
Right.
And where it's a series, there's quite a range of genres that
Yeah,
are going to be
yeah.
performing, from like folk or Celtic to rock to, more like indie.
Sure.
To, so it's really quite a range of genres for this.
Are you still adding stuff to it, or is everything pretty much set for the summer?
That's actually finalized.
Oh, that's good.
Now.
That's
Yep,
good, because
yep.
that can always be a challenge when you're booking a series
is.
of shows like that.
It is, but I think that's one of the, beauties about Inspire Music is it's more than just a program or a booking or anything like that. It's a cause, like
Right.
something you can get behind and, really support. So I think when we started to come onto the scene and arrange this, people were like, I'm on board.
Right. That's
so it
awesome.
was like really cool.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to play this track next. So this is Breaking Character, and the song is called Rock This Town here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation.
Baby and me went out late Saturday night. I had my hair piled high, my baby just looked so right. Well, pick you up 10 and have you home by 2. Mama don't know what I got in store for you, but that's alright, cause we're looking as cool as we can be. Well, we found a little place that really didn't look half bad. I'll have a whiskey on the rocks and a change $1 for the jukebox. Well, put a quarter right into that can, but all it played was a disco man. Come on, pretty baby, let's get out of here right away. We're gonna rock this town, rock it inside out. We're gonna rock this town, make them scream and shout. Let's rock, 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 man, rock. Gonna rock till we pop, we're gonna rock it till we drop. We're gonna rock this town, rock it inside out. Having a ball, just a bopping on the big dance floor. Well, there's a weird scare cat looks 1974. Well, you look at me once, you look at me twice, look at me again, and there's gonna be a pop. We're gonna rock this down, rock this place apart. We're gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. We're gonna rock this down, make them scream and shout. Let's rock, 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 man, rock. Gonna rock till we pop, we're gonna rock till we drop. We're gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. Rock this down, rock it inside out. We're gonna rock this down, make them scream and shout. Let's rock, 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 man, rock. Gonna rock till we pop, we're gonna rock till we drop. We're gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. We're gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. We're gonna rock this down, rock it inside out. Yeah.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet as we cruise into our final segment here tonight. Before we wrap up our conversation with Zach, I do want to remind everybody, of course, that Local Outbreak, a new episode every Saturday night at 9 p.m., both on 100.1 The Planet if you're in central New Hampshire, and of course you can get it from anywhere in the world on the IPM Nation live station on IPMNation.com. Also, of course, there's a replay on Wednesday at 7 p.m. if you missed the show Saturday night, and then we do archive all the shows at IPMNation.com/local outbreak, going all the way back to the beginning. So That's why sometimes during these conversations, I'll be like, I think I had them on the show, or because it's I've interviewed a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this far in, that's why I get confused. It's like I think I interviewed them, but it might have actually been on a different show. I'm not, so that's why. Like with Streamline. I'm not even sure what show I interviewed them on. And as always, I want to thank Melissa here at the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia for having us here every week. TheStudioNH.com is a website if you want to check it out online. Check out tweaksound.com if you need some engineering, mixing, mastering, whatever. Matt Marcil, if you need someone to actually play on your recording, he's one of those people who can play multiple instruments, which I've always been jealous of. I play bass and I barely do that. But tweaksound.com, Matt is located in Concord, New Hampshire. And of course, Central NH Events, if you need a DJ, you can go to centralnhevents.com. Tim Martin, also very important in making this show possible. And so Zach, again, Inspire Music, InspireMusicNH.com is the website?
Right, InspireMusicNH.com is the website, yep.
Okay. Was Inspire Music taken? Because it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
It was.
Yeah,
it was, and it's actually not even being... Yes, it's registered, and it's not even being used.
Oh,
so, like,
isn't that
we had to... When we registered, I was like, what?
Yeah.
One of those deals. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we learned that because, the name, like, when it came about, actually, my wife was the one that, we're bouncing off from each other. Sarah, I love you. No, I'm just brownie points. No, I'm just kidding.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But we were bouncing ideas, and I was like, well, music inspirations. I even tossed around like musical hearts at one time. But she's like, what about Inspire Music? I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's a good name. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really, sums up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I said where the focus of this is, not to just be a music program, but to be a cause that people can get behind.
Right.
As
exactly.
well. So
yeah. And of course you've got the concert series.
Concerts in the Park.
Concerts in the Park. I was trying to remember exactly what they call it.
Which is actually in collaboration with the Franklin Opera House, as well as the Mayor's Drug Task Force, and Franklin Parks and Recreation, because it's Odell Park in Franklin is the location for the series, the music series.
By the way, not to put you on the spot, but do you have any plans for when summer wraps up to do any? Are you going to be collaborating with the Opera House as far as doing shows indoors?
Actually, that's a really good question. I even have worked out an arrangement with the Opera House because their focus is definitely geared toward being a venue, like a community venue for performing arts. Mm-hmm. And our recitals, like when our clients are ready to take the stage, which the goal of that is going to be quarterly.
Sure.
Like every 3 months we should be having a recital.
Yeah.
And Dan Darling, the president of the Opera House, was on board like, hey, well, you can use this venue as, the host for your recitals.
Oh, cool.
So, like, that worked out awesome. And, I mean, that Opera House is, historic. So, like, the stage is just so vintage. And to be able to get up there for your first recital is going to be pretty cool.
That's, I remember I did a vocal recital once, and it was at the library in Manchester. So, definitely small potatoes compared to a place like the Opera House.
I
must confess, I've only been in the Franklin Opera House, I think twice, but it's really, really nice.
It is. You'll have to get there more. Now you'll have a reason to come there more.
Right, absolutely. Very cool.
Yeah, so when it comes to, that piece and having the recitals there, so we're looking forward to that performance-wise.
Yeah.
Also, working the individual lesson side of it and the music program side, we're going to continue connecting with, artists, bands, and musicians and, like, what opportunities are out there for them and then trying to, bring them to Franklin. Because I really want to bring music to the forefront of Franklin.
Yeah.
Especially when you have an opera house that's, amazing looking like that. And be able to play there and the acoustics in it and everything. But am in talks with the music director of the Franklin High School right now because they've already started a guitar ensemble, which is really cool because, I mean, I grew up in Franklin, went through the Franklin school program, and there was no guitar ensemble. So, that's a change.
Yeah.
I haven't been out too long yet, so not really. No, just kidding. But he's got that going, and we actually just had a meeting earlier today before I had came here discussing, well, what might this look like because the school year wraps up, like June.
Yeah.
So, what are these kids going to do that have now picked up an instrument? They want to still maybe continue with it,
Yeah.
And
good point.
I'm looking to kind of be that continuation for them so they're getting music, year round.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, good point.
Of course, it's going to be, interest-based because there's some kids that maybe they'll just finish the ensemble and they're okay.
Right.
But there's definitely going to be, kids that want to continue and take it to the next level, and that'd be through Inspire Music.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And Inspire Music, you're looking at first week of July, you said, to open the physical location?
Right, that's correct, yep.
Yeah, outstanding. Well, Zach, this has been great.
It has, yeah.
Zach DeFosi.
4 for 4.
4 for 4. All right, good. For people looking you up on Facebook, it's spelled very different than it sounds. Well, not very different, but there's an S on there.
Yeah.
On the end.
It definitely looks like DeFos's, but...
Yeah, people will find you, though.
Right.
So cool. And we'll play one more song to wrap up the show. What do you want to play?
Zach Benton is actually going to be another one of our performers.
Excellent.
So
we had Zach on the show recently.
Very
and
cool.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you'd like to play one of his tracks, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's see. You brought this Melodious Songbox, which I don't think is one of the ones we played when he was on, so that's perfect.
Something fresh.
I think so. But again, like I said, it's all a blur. I could be completely wrong. So this one might not be a world premiere. I'm not sure. But Zach's great. Both Zachs, Zach Benton and you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. No, I think it's really, really cool.
I love that you had me on here. Because I listen to local Outbreak, and it is a lot focused on the artists, the bands, the musicians. But for you to bring me onto the show to try and get this, promoted and out there so people are aware of it is just awesome, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Glad to do it, and I think it's going to have a really powerful impact on the community. So I think it's great. So thank you for coming, and we will leave you tonight with Zach Benton, Melodious Songbox here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
Oh, melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. I forgot its harmony. You were distant to me. Oh, colors of green. Was so stuck in between reality and dream to see. You were distant to me. Oh, melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Let me slip off my shoes, for I've lost all my blues. Feel the rhythm and here's the cue from a melodious song. When you were gone, oh how my heart is burned for your voice to yearn. But now things have turned for a melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Oh my restless old legs, no longer will I beg for them to dance without a break, for joyousness' sake. Oh, sun again shines. Once more I'm feeling fine. Love has re-entered my mind. So kind for me to rewind. But oh, melodious song. I was wrong when you were gone. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. We will dance the whole night long to melodious song. Oh, melodious song. Whoa, yeah. Oh, melodious song.
IPMNation.com.